Wife is interested in a position on the other side of the nation that offers about a third of my salary. So when I mentioned she'd have to handle her personal costs, she became angry and accepted the role regardless, abandoning me and the children. My spouse was just presented with an employment opportunity far away, which demands moving but also involves regular trips. My partner believes this could greatly advance her professional path, but the problem is we have a pair of youngsters, and my medical work is based here. Her income would be less than half of my present earnings. She's not employed right now, so I informed her that if she chooses to accept it, she'd need to assist with child-rearing costs, which might involve hiring a caregiver since my schedule can be erratic based on required hospital duties. She thinks this is unjust, as she'd need to manage her own housing bills, and adding childcare payments would result in minimal leftover funds. This position doesn't even include a moving allowance. She proposed that we all relocate, but our entire network is in this area. Our kids have their buddies nearby, and shifting my doctor's certification isn't straightforward. Her last idea was that she relocates with the children. I remain here and pay for the caregiving and other fees because she says those services and daily expenses are less costly there. Just not affordable enough for her expected pay to support me acting as a provider. I aim to back her up, but her ideas appear poorly thought out to me. Update 1, quick status since some asked, not a lot different. I discussed with our children, and naturally they prefer staying put since they're young. The motivation for my wife pursuing this role is that she believes, given how the proposal came via her former teacher and guide, and as a woman in engineering, she relates to the situation. My spouse is welcome to pursue whatever she desires. She doesn't require my approval, but she can't anticipate us to disrupt our lives instantly. I'd never demand that from her. I recommended she attempt to launch her own company locally and connect with people who have comparable backgrounds to build the ideal workplace. She's worried about overcoming the initial hurdles. I said we might secure funding for such a project, but the practicalities of relocation don't add up currently. I'd require at least 12 months to organize my matters. Engaged in studies, developing a treatment facility close to the medical center that accepts all coverage types. This matters a lot to me because numerous similar places around us reject specific plans due to low reimbursements. Planning to grow my multiple sclerosis program with additional staff eager to perform this dedicated service for locals. I can't abandon all that suddenly. I informed my wife I won't block her, and if she decides to proceed, that's okay, but I won't maintain dual homes. If she goes, she'll handle every expense tied to the shift. I'll manage our joint bills and main house, nothing more. I'll take care of all local matters, and she'll deal with her individual costs. I mentioned I'd likely reduce or eliminate the shared cards too, knowing her tendency to rely on borrowing if necessary. I suggested the possibility of her asking to operate remotely for 3 of the 4 non-travel weeks, allowing us to proceed gradually. Check out property options, evaluate educational facilities, typical preparations prior to a move. She opposed delaying because supposedly they require her response by October. I lack interest in ending the marriage, but I'm from a broken home and grew up with my father. In general, his view on separation has been there's no use struggling if the individual has mentally departed. If my spouse desires to leave, I'll honor that. My wife has solely been a homemaker for roughly 5 years. She was employed during our firstborn's arrival and deep into the gestation of our second. She used parental time off, then resumed her position. A short period post-return, she was overlooked for an assignment or agreement she had prepared, prompting her to resign and remain with the family. Our children have attended childcare, been watched by relatives. My mother dedicated 2 years aiding with our first, her folks took leave for the second. Our younger one has attended educational preschool since age 3, as she describes it. So it's not as if she lacks relief or is constantly solo with the kids. My timetable can be unpredictable, but I made that clear early in our courtship and as things advanced. When we began seeing each other, I was already committed to this area. My instinct suggests she'll accept the position, and yes, it might result in a split. And if so, considering her extensive journeys, I believe I'd receive main guardianship. I wouldn't seek support payments from her, no wish or requirement for them. Apologies for the rambling thoughts. It's a bit scattered because this is an aggravating scenario. I don't want to face this, but I have other duties I can't ditch without adequate warning. If it leads to parting ways, that's how it unfolds. You adapt, As my folks advised me, I'll share with my children. Simply because they separated doesn't imply either parent cared for me less. Admittedly, it wasn't a nationwide divide in our situation. My parents resided nearby. It was a smooth change for me. I hope we can achieve similar for our kids if required. The arrangement is poorer than I imagined, but it's a tiny new venture with a limited group. They secured the contract by accepting major reductions in earnings. So compensation is far below half my income, closer to 1/3 of my pay, if that. Thus, I understand why she couldn't contribute to mutual costs. She might scarcely manage her personal ones. We'll observe, but indications suggest she'll proceed, and will adapt, but if a breakup occurs, it does. That's existence. I truly care for my wife, but she's independent with her own choices. Comments where the original poster responded. Comment 1. So she aims to shift nationwide for a role that couldn't support her solo. Original poster. She hardly could maintain herself. Supposedly just short-term until they solidify as an organization, business initially. Comment 2. If she accepts, stay vigilant. Consult an attorney regarding safeguarding property in event of split, because my hunch is she's alone, far off, without children. It's like the classic phrase, when the guardian's absent, the playful ones emerge. Original poster. If it reaches that, I wouldn't contest it. I'll provide her portion she's due. Likely would purchase her share of the property, too. Not fretting minor details. She obviously dislikes this place. She seeks greater things, that's acceptable. Comment 3. I was considering your enterprise and savings for later years. I hope my assumption is incorrect, but also pondered her acting secretly without seeking separation. Original poster. Valid observation. Hadn't considered that. Original poster replies to a criticized remark about what his spouse sacrificed during his training. What has she contributed to the family unit? Original poster. We were acquaintances during my schooling. We weren't romantic. She didn't leave her employment until after our second arrived, and even then post about a year. Abandoning my commitments abruptly isn't feasible and unprofessional. For a family relocation, I'd need no less than 12 months. Our kids have gone to preschool from age 3, with family assistance for each. She's not alone or cut off. Yes, I get she desires a career, but this opportunity is subpar by every measure. Comment 4. What are your shifts currently and post-clinic growth? You noted your timetable is already irregular, so wondering. Original poster. Beyond my required facility rotations, I'm back by 7 p.m. So roughly 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. After bedtime, I might handle client inquiries, examine and revise records from midnight to 2 a.m. weekly. Occasionally, I cover Saturdays as certain clients are employed guardians, so that's their available slot, but that's 8 to 11 a.m. Just a few such cases, monthly occurrence. Edit. I realize it's suboptimal, but I have motivations for this dedication. My grandpa suffered from MS, and it was tough. Comment 5. I'd rethink support payments if it arises. Your kids are small. If you accept the funds and allocate toward their prospects like funds or similar, it might hugely alter their paths. Irrespective of your income, reserves, etc. With little ones, it appears there'll be numerous obstacles we avoided, and some additional could create vast impact on their existence and outlook. Original poster. Perhaps arrogance or self-respect. But if we part over this, I won't demand support and allow her to allocate those funds as she chooses. Ideally, she'd prioritize our kids. I don't wish to deduct from her if we divide when she says she couldn't manage. I'd prefer minimal contact with her. If she skips payments, I don't want to pursue, seek sessions if unpaid, or manage her potential changes. Fortunately, I've saved for our children since birth. I'll speak with my legal advisor if necessary. Update 2. This is my final status, and it was difficult to share. I value the input and ideas, particularly the one about nearby regions. Though some might claim my focuses are off, our kids oppose relocating, and I have strong connections locally. I believe I owe it to my clients and learners. I know for others such pledges seem temporary, but for MS sufferers, locating a compatible physician takes ages, and that's vital with such a variable illness. I lead area meetings, conduct educational sessions, join tests for novel remedies. Presently set to launch our stem cell study for those with aggressive and advancing cases unresponsive to alternatives. Primary aim is data gathering, but also offer access to this hopeful approach that's costly. All that would be irrelevant if our children wanted to depart, and I understand some think youth lack input, but they're key family members and their views count. Regarding accusations of indifference, I do cherish and adore my wife, but I also think a partnership isn't for battling. It either succeeds or fails. Striving to demonstrate affection depth is odd. Who am I to influence or alter another's decision? She chooses to leave, that's her right. In summary, she accepted the position. As for ending the union, she opposes it, but I'm undecided. Consulted my folks and her relatives, and they concur her action is illogical, but my wife is obstinate. So as my father-in-law stated, once decided, nothing shifts it. Your choices are comply and serve as backup if she stumbles, and he agrees odds favor failure. I refuse to be a contingency. Her kids' strategy is they remain with me, and she visits for key celebrations and a fortnight in summer. For costs, she'll require extra aid, housing around $17.50 excluding bills and such. Her estimated net pay about $3.5K. So the more she discusses this scheme, the poorer it looks. To assist, I proposed funding 6 months' lease, but probably this will cause at least our parting. She's a bit annoyed that I'm open to employing a caregiver now she's departing, but I clarified employing one when she wasn't working, and our kids attend structured preschool as she terms it. Why precisely need a caregiver? I note she chose to exit her role, and I backed that as her preference. Regardless, haven't informed the children yet. They know she considered a position and might be distant temporarily. I talked to a lawyer and will delay since all their familiarities are here with set routines and backing. So they strongly question she'd attempt to relocate them. Overall, attempting this distant partnership, but part of me senses she's exploiting me as I doubt she'd proceed without some backing. Even her dad noted similarly. Ultimately, perhaps she hopes I'll battle for our bond, but I view a union worth preserving if combat is needed. I adore her and wish she stayed, but if she insists, then so be it. I won't feign her joy relies on me or the family. She's wonderful, and it'd be conceited to assume she won't encounter someone aligning better with her goals. I believe we'll manage whatever transpires. I'm ready to acquire her home portion at current rate, divide necessities, and conclude. We'll jointly raise optimally. I lack resentment toward her. She dislikes her present existence, and that's okay. Maybe I'm unusual, but I see no value in counseling since her pursuit indicates its significance. And reality is if she considered the children or our bond, she wouldn't view this as practical, much less accept. If parting occurs, discussed with my counsel, and he said it'd be my choice to seek it. It's not default in guardianship. I probably won't pursue it and trust she prioritizes our kids for college savings or upcoming costs like residence or events. Thanks for the responses. Our household will thrive. Next story, partner encountered my former buddy at her workplace holiday gathering and became unsure after noticing her appeal. Then I discovered my beloved pullover that my previous had presented shredded. I truly adore this pullover. It was versatile formal with a lined design from an upscale Italian label. I could use it for office or a night event, and I greatly appreciated my appearance in it. I'm extremely upset to part with it. Context on the connections. My partner is Hannah. We connected as we reside on the identical road and shared early work caffeine at the same spot. Our beverage sessions gradually became outings, and we've been a duo formally for around half a year. I enjoy her. She's kind, intelligent, and attractive. But we're progressing gradually as both emerged from awful splits. She ended with her guy of a decade. Their bond concluded in storms of disputes and trivial acts that divided their circles and irritated kin. The causes weren't evident to me. All Hannah mentioned was their issues surfaced simultaneously and all collapsed. My separation differed. Haley and I never formally paired, but we'd been companions for ages. We were intimate once during single phases, but agreed we functioned superior as pals. 2 years prior, Haley parted from a poor bond, and we entered a somewhat formal benefits arrangement, meaning we'd socialize and chat as buddies but occasionally share closeness. We both became occupied professionally, so no other romantic ties. Near holiday season 2015, Haley raised our dynamic and said she was developing feelings beyond friendship and wished to try a partnership with me. I declined. I had personal grounds, chiefly that we held core conflicting life perspectives, making a bond challenging. We excelled as companions, and she was vital to my existence. I didn't want to risk that via romance. Well, I lost the companionship anyway. She basically ceased contact, and despite my dislike, I couldn't object as it was sensible for her well-being. But it pained deeply. Losing her friendship ached more than any prior split, and it required time to stabilize. Hannah knew the essentials of my and Haley's link and wasn't overly inquisitive. She also knew I possessed items Haley gifted but never objected, particularly as she retained presents from her former two. This holiday, I joined Hannah at her company festivity. Surprisingly, Haley attended. It emerged she'd begun there lately in another section from Hannah's. We shared greetings and attempted light conversation, but it was uncomfortable and spanned perhaps 3 minutes, largely quiet. Then Haley departed prematurely and I didn't spot her after. While conversing with Haley, Hannah was elsewhere. Upon return, I informed her. She'd never encountered her prior large firm, but her interest spiked. Anyway, I entered a festive spirit and all normalized. Until recent Friday. During my shift, I received numerous messages from Hannah essentially noting she'd finally met Haley. Note that Haley is highly appealing, like agency proposals from teen years appealing, plus her role entails constant sharp attire, coordinator for premium business events. Encountering Haley affected Hannah. She didn't state outright, but abruptly became very interested in Haley plus our history, posing many inquiries on all aspects. She even noted the pullover specifically, saying understandable why you cherish that pullover greatly. I endeavored to ease her doubts. I assured her no remnants between Haley and me. We hadn't communicated over a year, save 3 uneasy minutes at the event. I also stated I truly enjoyed her and envisioned our bond advancing significantly. But I was subtly irritated by the discussion. Anyway, Hannah stayed over Saturday evening, and I believed we'd somewhat overcome this brief envy surge. Then she departed early Sunday, citing an issue arose despite our day plans. Later that night, sorting my washing, I noticed the pullover with a large gap under the arm as if someone attempted to tear it manually. Now it's clear Hannah caused it. I donned that pullover Thursday. When setting for cleaning, it was intact. Nobody else visited my place since. I messaged her directly inquiring, perhaps not optimal, but I was furious. She defended immediately, rejecting involvement, suggesting various possibilities and repeatedly calling me rude for assuming her unstable. This morning, she messaged angrily and swore, admitting the pullover's origin troubled her, but she didn't act. I feel I should end it. But I've doubted myself considerably too. Hannah has consistently been very gentle, considerate of my emotions. I truly like her, and we lack core mismatches. We could honestly build a satisfying bond, and perhaps this pullover destruction was a temporary judgment error she's deeply ashamed of, hence her protectiveness. What do you believe? Update, as it's been 10 days and the thought I'd inform you on the ultimate outcome. I've consumed some beers, so excuse the incoherence. Common questions, it was a Loro Piana knit. It's unfixable, I inquired around. My proof Hannah was responsible is indirect but persuasive. First, after placing in the cleaning stack, it was buried under items. When found ruined, it was crumpled atop. Second, the rip was 8 inches or 20 cm lengthy. I'd have spotted easily if during wear or stacking. Third, while ripped, it was distorted fully. The distortion fits grasping sides and yanking. But most persuasively, upon aggressive confrontation, she began listing alternate damage methods with precise awareness of the harm type to my dear knit. I'd never specified the damage, specifically armpit seam area plus distortion. To the woman who dispatched a sincere and profane tirade plus appeal, yes, I believe folks have full right to sense unsure or lacking. Yes, individuals can behave foolishly. Yes, I've committed dumb acts from emotional unchecked. And yes, I'm odd or possession-focused enough to value a knit over the lady I'm seeing. But no, I don't think she merits pardon for this error. And that's as it wasn't the doubt, wasn't the restraint absence, and wasn't the possession focus that prompted breakup desire. It was the dishonest and sneaky post-behavior. It was the wildly controlling manner she positioned as victim and required my regret. And yes, the swearing at me didn't aid. The tale is quite theatrical plus uneventful. Her abrupt actions post my failed challenge endured 2 days. Then she phoned around 40 times pleading pardon. Though I dodged calls, I heard recordings and my compassion rose. She basically confessed guilt in some recordings. But then I learned before those, she'd attacked Haley, my past pal plus benefits at work, and it was nasty plus risked her profession. That saddened me for Haley. She didn't merit inclusion in conflict she didn't initiate. The uneventful aspect is I didn't need to terminate with Hannah. She's basically relocated to her folks northward. She conveyed via a shared contact that she acknowledges she has several problems to address from her split with former betrothed, and our choice to pair was essentially fated poorly initially. I hoped her success in her path. Another shared contact reached me, this one linking me and Haley. She relayed remorse for her part in my bond collapse. I said no need for her apology. I also sought her pardon for accidentally sparking job drama. And that's it. Grateful for your insights and critiques. It was informative, amusing, and exasperating. Fascinating mix indeed, but that's why one seeks counsel from anonymous online folks.